Hey, everybody, this is Jed Johnson from DieselCrew.com. Of course, you know they call me Napalm, and this is a special episode of This Week in Grip. I've asked Eric Roussin from Ottawa, Canada, Ontario, Canada, to speak with me today about the United States Grip Championships for 2021. If you don't know Eric, he's an active competitor and promoter in Canada. They still have some restrictions going on there, so there hasn't been as many competitions going on in Eric's neck of the woods. But I can assure you that Eric is a very accomplished competitor, having competed since, I don't know, at least 2012, right, Eric? Maybe even before.
Yeah, about 10 years, yeah.
Yeah, man. So, and plus tremendous background in arm wrestling, very knowledgeable in grip. And when I was thinking of someone who could sit down for this conversation with me, he was the first person that I thought of. So, Eric, thanks a lot for taking some time out of your schedule today to discuss the upcoming competition this weekend.
Yeah, no problem, Jed. I got to say, from what I've seen on the grip board, that contest looks pretty exciting. So it's this Saturday, right?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yep, right at my gym. It's 36 Main Street, Wyalusing, Pennsylvania. So I am currently accepting more entries if people are qualified and they want to compete. It's just at this point it might be tough for me to get them one of the free contest T-shirts that I had put together. But yeah, when I was sitting down to plan the competition, I wanted to have elements of past nationals competitions, and along with a few adjustments to some of the classic events from our North American Grip Sport Championship and United States Championships of the past. And I think it's going to be a real fun competition, and people are going to have a really good time.
Walk us through the events. What's first up on the day?
Yeah, there's 5 events, and that's pretty standard for this level of competition. Many competitions have 4 events these days, but we're going to go with 5. And we're going to start off with the silver bullet hold for time. And I think a lot of times there's only 1 trip to the platform, and I'm going to allow 2 because as things were coming along, it looked like the number of people that were going to sign up was a little bit smaller. So I wanted to try to allow people to get their best possible performance in the event. So I'm going to allow for 2 trips to the platform. It's going to be a 60-second time limit. So they have 60 seconds to get a legal hold on the Iron Mine Silver Bullet. And I'm going to let them drop down. So they can start at the 4, and if they don't get a good lock on it, then they can drop down to the 3.5 or 3. And they can do that as many times as they want to, as long as they get a good lock within that 60-second time limit.
That's awesome. As someone who's had some struggles with this event in competition, I really think that 2 trips takes a lot of the stress away, and I really appreciate having that option. And what I think is interesting is that if you get a good hold or a decent attempt on your first attempt, a lot of guys, I think they're going to forego the second attempt. Like if it was me and I was relatively satisfied with my first attempt, I'd save myself for the future events. But it's nice to have the option. So I really like that 2 trips to the chat platform. It's so thanks for doing that.
Right. Yeah, those are great points. And and I think every other time I've run this, except for once, we've only done 1 attempt. And I know one time that kind of bit someone real bad. It was the guy's first competition a couple of years ago. He had just started doing grip. It was only his second or third time trying the silver bullet. It wasn't a nationals competition. It was just like an entry-level local comp. And he also, which I did not know this before the contest, but he had never competed in front of people at anything before. He had never done sports in high school. He had never done Little League baseball or anything. So he was very, very nervous. And because of that, and prior to the contest, he was getting 1-second locks in on the number 4. So the number 4 is 3.5. It was one of those really, really high grippers. And he's just a local quarry guy. So he works with stone and heavy machinery and tools and stuff like that. So his hands are like it's like you're shaking a brick when you shake hands with this guy. And I know he had it in him to get it, but he just got flustered during his attempt. And then after his attempt, he kind of calmed down, went over and got a good lock with whatever gripper he was attempting. So, I think that second trip is going to benefit some guys, especially. I know we have one guy in here that's only competed one time before, so the nerves might get to him, and that second attempt might allow him to do a little bit better performance.
There's so many guys that I see who are just naturally strong hands, but have never really touched any of these implements. And grippers is really whether it's Silver Bullet or just any other of the gripper events, it's so technique dependent. You know they have the strength, they just don't know how to hold the gripper. So at least if you have 2 attempts and this is your first contest, well, maybe somebody could tell you what you did wrong, and then for your second attempt, have a better shot. Yeah. Yeah,
for sure, man. It's like the grippers. The grippers are always like a playing field leveler. If you've got some dude that's like an absolute freak or maybe a pro strongman that's coming to his first grip contest, a lot of times they struggle with that gripper, and then they kind of start from behind and have to make up from there with things like the Axle, Rolling Thunder, whatever, those kind of implements. It's something that kind of throws a monkey wrench into their performance if they're newer and don't know the technique.
It's also I also like the way you score this event. That's also an interesting way of doing it, and I thought it worked out well the times that I've competed in your events that feature the Silver Bullet. So good on you for coming up with that. It's still the same one you're using, I'm assuming?
Yeah. I don't have the numbers. Maybe I do have the numbers right in front of me so I can cover everything in better detail. 1 second. Yeah, so the way that we set it up is if you do the Silver Bullet with a 1.5, you can get between 41 and 50 points. If you use a 2, you can get 51 to 60 points, 2.5, 61 to 70, 3, 71 to 80, 3.5, 81 to 90, and then 4, 91 to 100 points. And this kind of builds in percentage-based scoring. And we've actually got 3 events that are somewhat like this in the competition. In addition to those point ranges, if the person holds the Silver Bullet for 1 to 5 seconds, they'll get 2 points added. So a 1.5, if you hold it for 5 seconds, you can get 43 points. 6 to 10 seconds is an additional 4. 11 to 15 seconds is an additional 6. 16 to 20 seconds is an additional 8, and 21 to 25 seconds is an additional 10 points. So with a limit being 100 points. So it's worked out really well in the past, and it was just one of those things that came to us in a brainstorm, and it's worked out pretty well.
Cool. So what's the second event of the day?
After that, we're going to go to Euro Pinch, the 2-hand Euro Pinch, and that's another thing. If you take 2 attempts on that Silver Bullet, you're going to probably sacrifice a little pinch power on the second event. So it just depends on when you're starting on the 2-hand pinch. But we're doing the regular 2-hand pinch setup. It's the 2-hand pinch device that I got from David Horn in 2004. We're going to lift to the 16.5-inch crossbar. We're using 48 and 54 millimeters for the 2 widths. To kind of keep everything moving, because when you use a lot of widths, it can eat up a lot of time. So we're gonna use those 2 widths. It's gonna be 4 attempts, and you get 30 seconds per attempt to get a legal lift, and you can take as many attempts as you want to in those 30 seconds to get your legal lift.
Cool. Yeah, the Euro Pinch, obviously, it's not quite as contested quite as often as in the past. It's sort of been more of a move to either one-hand pinch events, or a lot of Saxon bars become more popular. But for those who've never tried it, it's a good test, and it feels really good. I like the feeling of it. So it's nice to see that event hasn't disappeared completely.
Right. I still like the event. I do enjoy the one-hand pinch, especially over the years past where we've done the one-hand pinch with the the flask. That's a really good event, and I like that one as well. But because we try to do a little bit more two-hand stuff at our competitions, we generally stick in a two-hand pinch of some sort. So the event lives on here in Pennsylvania.
Cool. And what's the third event on the day?
Then we're going to move on to the 2-inch Napalm's Nightmare. So if people aren't familiar with this one, the Napalm's Nightmare is something that I came out with. It's a double rolling handle implement. Both handles are in line with one another. So they don't run parallel. They run on a straight line. And then it connects to a loading pin, and you have to lift the implement 6 inches for a legal height, and the knock bar has to hit the crossbar. So this is the 2-inch handle. So we're expecting some lifts of 450 pounds plus, maybe a 500-pound lift out of a couple people. So this implement comes in several sizes. I'm sorry, Eric. Yeah. What was that, Bart?
The numbers can shoot up pretty fast on that 2-inch. But do you know what the current GSI record is on that?
Man, I should have had that. I did look it up. I can tell you that my lift is like 490, and I think there was one other person that was ahead of me, maybe two, and I think they're over 500 pounds. I'll tell you, man, I have not been anywhere near that in my training. What's funny is I've been higher on the axle in my recent training than ever before on a consistent basis, but my 2-inch Napalm's Nightmare is in the toilet for some reason, and I don't know why.
Oh, that is interesting. For those who have never tried the Napalm's Nightmare, I personally love it. It is easier easier on the back than an axle lift because the weight is directly under you and you're not crouched over quite as much. So I don't know. I really like the Napalm's Nightmare. So I'm looking forward to seeing the result on that event.
Yeah, buddy, for sure. It's gonna be a good one.
And then, so what's the fourth event on the day?
So now we're going to switch order from what I have. If anybody has looked at the contest on the grip board, I originally had the wrist roller as the fourth event, but I kind of thought about that, and that is going to fry people's hands. They're going to be pretty much cooked when the wrist roller is done. So we're going to do the medley as the fourth event. And I had originally called it the bullseye medley because I was going to have everything in a circle, and then you're going to carry everything to the center of the circle. And then the further you carry it, the more points you would get. But what I wasn't anticipating was the fact that 20 implements grouped all together, it was not going to work. My gym is not big enough to have all the implements in the center. So as cool as I thought it was going to be, what we're going to do instead is we're going to have all the implements on the edge of one 4x6 lifting mat, and we're going to carry the implements across multiple lifting mats. And so if you break the line that the implement sits right beside, that's 2 points. Then if you can carry the implement past the next mat edge, it's going to be 3 points. The next mat edge is 4 points, and then the final mat edge would be 5 points. So this is going to allow for a possible score of 100 points. So this one's going to be scored in a similar fashion to the Silver Bullet, in that we won't use the percentage-based scoring because it's kind of already built into the event.
Right. Yeah, that sounds really like an interesting event. Did you mention what's the total distance if somebody was to get the maximum points for an event?
The total distance would be black would be 2, red, white, blue. So there's 4 lines to carry them over. The total distance would actually be about 12 feet.
12 feet. 12 feet each implement, 20 implements, 2 minutes. That's going to be, I predict that might really affect scores because you're adding the endurance element. I mean, there's endurance in any medley, but have to move, and you got to move quickly. Yeah. I'm really curious about how it's going to turn out because,
20 minutes
20 implements in 2 minutes is sort of a standard allotment of time for a medley. But when you got adding the movement, woo, you're gonna have to hustle.
Yeah. Well, and I took that into consideration. So, originally I wanted everything to be in a circle, and after a while I was also thinking like people are probably gonna get dizzy because they're gonna have to be like turning around and stuff and changing direction,
Right.
and then kind of almost going in circles. So I think this is going to be a little bit better. It is very demanding cardio-wise. However, what I did was I dropped the weights down on a lot of these things so that it's kind of just grab and go. So you won't have to do a lot of fidgeting around with lining everything up perfectly. I can go over the challenge items if you'd like me to.
Sure.
So, and this is kind of just the order that I thought of them. I mean, it's really based on the implements that I have. I have a 120-pound shot loadable inch trainer. That's actually a really easy pick for a lot of people. Like I have guys that come to the gym that don't even train grip and can lift that. So it's not too bad. The next one is the inch dumbbell. That's going to be a tough pick and carry. And a lot of times, a lot of people will not be able to lift that up, let alone carry it. So that's going to be one of like 5 that's really, really challenging. Then you got question. Yeah, sure.
Sorry, just a quick question. If somebody cannot lift it the entire way in one go and they drop it or put it down, can they pick it back up and keep going?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And that's in the rules. So they can pick it up and they can say, okay, I got 2 points now. Now I'll do some other stuff. Then they could go back and try the inch again, even if they wanted to, and try to get the 3 points. But
perfect.
Yep. I've got a spreadsheet all set up so that I can check off what they do and what points they get for each implement. It's going to be great.
Perfect.
So the next thing was the next gen blob. So I have I don't know how many blobs here, but I have all the variations. So I chose my absolute easiest next gen blob. This has been the first blob lifted by lots of different people. So it's still pretty challenging. Not everybody's going to get it, but it's still kind of middle of the road as far as blobs are, half 100-pound blobs are concerned. The next thing I've got is 225s, and they're milled Yorks, so they're very, very rough. They sandwich together really, really nice. It's going to be an easy pick for a lot of people. Then there's 235s, which are probably an average width, average 35s. There's a spot where a lot of the paint has been ground off, so if you position them right from the start up, you'll be able to get a really good grip on them. And then my easiest 45s that I have at the gym are going to be implement number 6. They've got really nice bevels. I didn't want anybody slicing their thumb on the 45s, so all of these plates have bevels on them that are on the edges that are pretty forgiving, so you don't hurt or cut yourself when you're trying to lift them. That's going to be one, though, that if you're going to try to carry them and you drop them, you better watch out because they might do some rolling.
Right.
Yeah, so that's the first 6. Then there's 2 grippers, Eric. There's a number 2 strap hold carry with 10 pounds and a number 2.5 strap hold carry with 10 pounds. So that's number 7 and 8. And to round out the first 10, there's a 110-pound anvil carried by the horn, which is I keep using the term easy, but a lot of people have lifted this anvil that are not like time-tested gripsters. Like newer people have picked this up. So I expect a lot of people to get points out of that anvil. And then my 55-pound anvil, which is very, very simple. I think everybody will be able to carry that. From there, we go on to a 55-pound finish ball. I don't know about you, Eric, but I really like the finish ball. Like, I'm not a key pinch guy, and I enjoy training the finish ball.
I can tell you I do better on the little key pinch lifts. I'm actually finding it a bit of a challenge. I don't know if just my thumb, the size of my thumb might not be great for it, but I think you have 55 pounds on it?
Yeah,
medley?
55.
To me, that's actually getting to be a challenging weight. So I guess it all comes down to the person, right? So some people do better on some lifts than others, but for whatever reason, I haven't quite figured out the finish ball just yet.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens. When we were doing our run-throughs last weekend, I had a grade 5 bolt through there to hold the finish ball onto the loading pin, and that thing swiveled around as I was running, and it cut like a 3/8 inch gash right out of my leg. So I instantly went and got like one of those push pin bolts that come on the flask and put one of those in there, so we have a little bit less injury risk, because we don't need to get that near anybody's femoral artery and have them bleeding out on my gym floor.
Yeah.
From there, we're going with an 8-pound sledge choke with a quarter, so you got to grab it by the end, keep the quarter on the whole time. 8-pounder. 45-pound Ironman pinch block is next. Then we got 4 10s pinch, and these are milled York plates, so they fit together really nice and they have texture on the outside. So I think probably just about everybody will get that. Next is a 45-pound billiard plate. It's a really, really easy hub lift. It's a lift by the hub. Very, very easy. I would expect everybody would get that one as well. Then there's a 35 York hub plate and a 25-pound York hub plate. I think they're Yorks. They're the York style with the nice, big, fat, deep dish hub on them, a slight flange to them, but they're not hard. They're not. The 25 is cake. The 35 is middle of the road. I've had some people that don't even do grip lift the 35.
Okay.
Number 18 is one that might not get anybody any points at all, and that's the 200-pound Selene inch dumbbell. This is the teal-colored one that was at Living Legends in 2019 that was in that medley.
I wonder when you tackle medleys, Jed, if it's an item that you have the ability to get, but it's not sort of like a guarantee, do you tackle that one first, or do you sort of keep that for the end?
I haven't decided what I'm going to do now. I think, depending on how I'm feeling, I know I can lift the Selene inch. Carrying it is just out of the question. So what I might do is go for a 2-pointer on that one. Right. I'm just not sure. Like, if I can save strength in my left hand throughout the medley, then I think I'll be able to pick it up and get 2 points at the end as well. So, it's going to be tough. If that's the only thing I don't get, I don't think it's going to hurt me too bad. But that's one of those things where you got to make a decision at some point. Sometimes those decisions are made in the 2 seconds before the alarm goes off at the beginning.
Very true.
Then it's a half, rounding out the last couple here, half 55-pound York blob. Really easy pick. I've had at least 1 and maybe 2 women at my gym that don't train grip have lifted this. So right to lockout. And then a 30-pound stub. I could not run a crazy medley without a 30-pound, without at least using the stub in some fashion.
30 pounds doesn't seem like a lot, but on the stub, it actually does feel like quite a bit.
Yeah. So that's the way it looks, and that's the men's medley. So I did switch some things out for the women because we have a couple really strong women competitors coming. We didn't go over the competitor list. We'll make sure to do that. But I wanted to just graduate it down a little bit, and hopefully it works pretty well. So I left the 120 shot load inch in there because I think these ladies will be able to get a couple points out of that. But then for the inch, I went down to a 70-pound plate loadable inch-style dumbbell. Instead of the blob 50, it's a half 75. Kept the 25s and 35s pinch the same, but went to 3 10s instead of the 2 45s. Instead of a number 2 strap hold, it's going to be a trainer. Instead of the 2.5, it's going to be a number 1.
Jack, question about
Sure.
Just question about 235s. How common is it for women to be able to pinch 235s. I really have no idea, but it seems like it would be quite the accomplishment.
I think it's definitely quite an accomplishment. The two ladies that are coming are Sarah Chapello and Melissa Dingy. So if there's anyone that's going to do it, in the United States, the first two people besides Amy Waddles are those two ladies.
Right.
So
agreed.
I think they have a really good chance at getting some points out of that challenge item.
Cool.
And like I said, the 110 anvil I kept the same. The 55 I kept the same. I dropped the 55-pound finish ball down to 30 pounds for the women. The 8-pound sledge choke goes to a 3-pound sledge choke, and that's the 3-pounder that we used for rotations at, I believe, the 2016 North American Championship at Andrew Derniat's place, where we had the sledge lever on sledge rotation on the floor. So that's only got a 30-inch handle on it. So I think they're going to dominate that one. The 45-pound pinch block is going to be 30 pounds. We're going to use the 410s. Like I said, they fit together really, really nice. I took the 45-pound billiard plate out, and it's going to be a 10-pound hub. So I have these, I don't know what brand they are, but these 10-pound plates that are really thick, and they have a good hub on them. And I have, like, a bunch of kids that train on those sometimes when we have extra time in our training sessions. 35-pound hub is the same. 25-pound hub is the same. I took the 200-pound Selene out, and I replaced it with a half 70 hex block, which is really, really rough, and it's a pretty easy pick for most guys. I think they'll be able to lift it. And then 20 pounds on the stub is I kept the 55-pound hub. The 55-pound blob is the same, and then the 30-pound stub is a 20-pound stub.
Sounds good. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, I think in both medleys there are some harder items, but
sure.
I think it's enough I think the top competitors should still perform the best. Whether generally that's what happens in medleys. The better competitors, no matter almost what the assortment, as long as it's a decent assortment, generally the top competitors perform the best. So I think that's going to be interesting to watch.
Yeah, and it's going to be action-packed. So I'm going to try to film all of them. The medleys are always really fun to watch, and they seem to be popular with people on my YouTube channel. So I'm going to try to film all of the medleys. It should be pretty good.
So this finishes with the wrist roller, correct?
Correct. Yes. Your favorite event, right?
I don't know what it is with my hands, but it rips up my skin. I don't know if it's moisture on my hands or whatever, but I'm happy that it would be. I would always prefer that to be the last event, to be honest, just because of what it does to my hands. But there's no question that it's a very exciting event to watch.
Right. Yeah, like so often the wrist events are often the most exciting events, like sledge choke, pickaxe. You always get like the biggest crowd reaction and engagement on those events. Wrist roller, everybody's yelling at the guy that's on the wrist roller to pump them up and stuff. It's always really exciting. So it's a good event to end on.
Yeah.
So the way we've got it. Oh, go ahead, Eric.
No, you go ahead. You were about to explain it, so I'll let you go.
Okay. Yeah, so we've tested it a couple times now. Didn't really train it. We just figured out the weight last night. So we're going to do 150 pounds for the men and 100 pounds for the women. And remember, we're pulling on rubber mats with a steel sled, and there's not a lot of friction. So it probably sounds like a lot of weight, but it's probably also like comparable friction to what we had at Brad Martin's gym, Titan Strength, up in Elmira for the 2019, I believe. 2018 or 2019. So, and I think we did 135 pounds up there. So we're going to do 150 here for the men, 100 pounds even for the women added to the implement. And then it's a 22-foot distance. So from where you begin is 0, where you end is 22 feet. And then we've got it marked out every 2 feet. So once you pass either a crack between two mats or the center point of a mat, you're going to get 8 points. And then you have a potential of getting 80 points if you cross the 10th 10-foot marker. And then if you finish it, then for every 5 seconds under a minute that you finish, you get 3 extra points. So if you finish at 55 seconds or higher, you get 83 points. 50 seconds to 54 seconds would be 86 points. 45 to 49 points would be 89 points. 40 to 44 seconds would be 92 points. 35 to 39, 95 points. And if you beat 30 seconds, then you get 100 points.
I find that point system very very interesting. Is that for the first time you're scoring it that way?
I think so. I truthfully don't recall how exactly we decided the scores for the finishers at the 2019 competition. I'd have to dig up the results, which I'm sure that I have somewhere, because I don't ever throw anything away. But
I quite like that you can still be in the hunt as long as you cross the line. You still get 80 points. So I think that's pretty interesting. Now, how does the 22-foot length compare? I don't know what the length was in 2018 or 19, but I think it was longer. Do you know?
It was longer, and Luke said he thought it was like 35 feet.
Okay. Well, that's also I know I'm not competing in this event this Saturday, but that is reassuring to me. I'd like my chances of at least getting across the line, So I quite like that. Well, that'll be. And
Go ahead, Eric. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that and the way that's run, and I'm assuming you're doing it the same way, is it's reverse order of scores after 4 events. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Because that's always exciting. I'm remembering the final of. I can't remember if it was 19. I think it was 19. Between when it came down to sort of Justin and Luke Raymond, and that was a good battle.
Oh yeah.
It was really exciting to watch.
No doubt, man. Yeah, very very exciting, and it's going to be exciting on Saturday as well, because we've got a lot of people with very very strong hands coming, and I think it's going to come down to whether or not they've been training some wrist roller, and if they have past experience, obviously that's going to be a big advantage for them. They'll know what to expect. So yeah, it's going to be cool, man. It's going to be real cool.
I did see the list of competitors, and you can certainly run through it, but when my initial reaction was, wow, there are no slouches in this list. Everyone is good.
No.
It's going to be interesting, but maybe you can walk us through that list, because it's a good list.
Yeah, buddy, I will. As I look, I'll just mention, and we're using the same exact wrist roller that we used at the 2019 competition as well. So
okay. Well, I thought it worked very well.
Yeah. The only difference is it's going to be on a different cage, because the cage that I took up there was my old squat cage, and the current cage that I have at the Peak Strength and Fitness gym is what we're using. But it's going to be, very, very similar, with a 1-inch pipe going through the wrist roller. It's a 2-inch wrist roller, same exact cord. So, yeah, man. But yeah, cool. I've got the list right here, and first I'll start off with the women. We already mentioned their names: Sarah Chapello and Melissa Dingy, two women that have, in the last few years have been main names at many big competitions.
Oh, absolutely.
They're both in, I guess you would call it the heavyweight category for the women.
which I can't remember what the cutoff is. Is it 84 kilos? Do you recall?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're both in the same weight class. Both women have good sized hands. They're both tall. Lots of experience. I recall Sarah did really well at the 2019 King Kong. Did she end up winning the overall in the women's division?
She did. She was the Queen Kong of grip that year. She did.
That's right. Yeah. And then, Melissa has been here for a couple competitions just at my place, and I know that she's competed a couple times at Mike Saffel's competitions as well, so she's racking up a lot of experience.
Yeah, and she's been to Russia as well, and it's
yes,
well
that's
there,
right.
I believe. Yeah.
So that's going to be a head-to-head competition for the women, neck and neck the whole way through. I think it's going to be that's going to be a story in itself. Day of the
It's interesting because I'm pretty sure Melissa is more active in grip, but Sarah is just so strong. I really don't know how much she's training for it, but I would imagine that Melissa is always sort of touching these implements, so it'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As soon as I announced it, she told me I'm in for this competition. She checked to make sure it was definitely going to go on based on restrictions, and I was like, yeah, man, we're going to run it. So she's been into it, and I knew that Jason was going to be here. It was just a question if Melissa would be making the trip, and sure enough, she's coming along. So it's going to be great. Going to be great. For any other questions on the women competitors, Eric?
No, I guess, is there still time to sign up if somebody really wanted to?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. If anyone else wants to sign up, if they're qualified, they can definitely sign up. And I just realized that I left Dave 101 off the list. I can't believe I did that. So there's actually going to be another person coming, and I totally screwed that up. So I'm going to have to get him on there. Darn it. I totally messed that up. I don't know if you know. Do you remember Dave 101? He came to the competition in 2019.
I do. Yeah.
Cool. Darn, that list has been up and no one called me on that. Son of a gun. So yeah, so we've got an extra competitor there. So in the lighter class, we're gonna run two classes. We got Dave 101, Luke Raymond, Clint Ziegler, and Vinny Rivellese. You're probably familiar with most of these guys, I guess, Eric?
Yeah, I sure am. And they all have their own different strengths, so it's going to be an interesting class.
Yeah, for sure. I think Dave has done a lot of work with grippers and pinching mostly in the past. Are you aware of any of his accomplishments that he's attained?
Dave is the guy I know the least about in terms of his specialties in grip. Yeah.
Right. But he seemed to know what he was doing when he was up here a couple of years ago. So I think we're going to see some good performance out of him. Clint is a member of my coaching program. He's actually been coming down here on the weekends a lot during 2021. So we've seen some tremendous growth in him. His grippers have come way up, put up a lot of pinch feats, even done 245s here recently in one of the Reddit challenges. Really hard work on the inch dumbbell and a bunch of other stuff. So he's another guy that really digs the finish ball, Eric.
Okay. I believe he also finished top 3 in King Kong last year in the I think he was in the 83 kg class. So
that's very possible.
Yeah,
very
he's
possible.
doing well.
For sure. And then we have Vinny. Vinny's been coming to my competitions for years, and I know that he's gone to other competitions around the nation. I don't know if he went to the Russia contest 2 years ago, Eric. Do you know?
I don't think he did.
Okay. I wasn't sure. And I believe he's a Match Monster 2 certified guy on the grip board.
Okay.
Definitely Mash Monster 1, but I think he also got MM2. And then, of course, Luke, who's a past national champion. I know 2014 he won the 93 kilo class. And then 2018 he won the overall championship at the North Americans. And then I don't recall some of the other years, to tell you the truth.
Well, he's a consistently high performer. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. So that rounds out the group for the lightweight men, and then for the heavyweight men, dude, it's like all 120 kilo plus. There's nobody. I didn't cut weight. I'm still like 272. So
Okay.
it's me, Ches Richeza, Jason Dingy, Lance Moore, and Mike Rinderly. Mike confirmed last night that he's going to be making the trip. So
awesome.
Mike's been competing since at least 2009 in grip. Never done a tremendous amount of training at grip, but he's done a lot of competitions. He's probably most well known for his bending prowess, having bent tons of big steel bars and horseshoes and brace bars and things like that. Are you familiar with Lance Moore at all, Eric?
I can't say that I am.
So Lance is the wrestling coach at the Keystone, Keystone State College. So Keystone State, you know that Pennsylvania is called the Keystone State?
Yep.
Okay. So there's a Keystone College that's maybe an hour away or so on Route 6. So Route 6 goes right through Wyalusing. That's the town I'm in. And his school is right off of Route 6. You can, like, hit it with a rock if you throw it out your window when you drive by. It's that close. So he and I have been talking about grip for probably a year and a half. And he did his first competition in February of this year at the contest that I held, which was the Diesel Crush Classic. That's the one where we partnered with Country Crush on a bunch of the events.
Right.
And he came in, I believe, third place. I think Dingy came in first, then me, and I think he was third place overall.
Wow.
Real big boy, real strong dude. He knows a thing or two about strength and conditioning, stone lifter. He has an inch dumbbell. He's lifted my 169-inch dumbbell. So he's definitely got some ability. I think his probably weak point, if you could say, the silver bullet, because I don't think he's done a lot of grippers. But aside from that, also the medley, probably a lot of things in there that he's not familiar with. But as far as the two-hand pinch, I know he can do 200 pounds because he was up here training a few weeks ago and got 200. And then, like I said, lifted the inch. He's real strong on the Napalm's Nightmare. I think he got like 330 or something like that in training, 330 added. So probably another, it's another 14 pounds with the handle, the loading pin, and the knock bar. So definitely got some potential to have a high performance out of him.
Cool.
Then, of course, we have Jason Dingy, who I worked with him in a coaching capacity since December of 2018. And over that time, I mean, he's just grown and grown the whole entire time, and even ended up coming up here and beating me in my own contest this past February. So I'm looking forward to crashing heads, banging skulls with him again, and we'll see who comes out on top.
There doesn't seem to be a limit to his progress. He just keeps getting better and better and better. It's getting scary. Yeah. And he doesn't. I don't know if he has. I mean, everyone has relative weaknesses. I don't even know what his is. He seems to be good at everything.
I can't point to anything. He's tremendous at key pinch, two-hand pinch. Doesn't matter what the implement is. Probably I would say if there's one opportunity for him to work on, it would be the one-hand pinch. So, I recall the Flask. the one-hand flask giving him some trouble the last couple of years. But other than that, I mean, his thick bar is off the charts. Axle, he's up around 420, maybe higher now. Plus, he's pulling out the combination feats lately, Eric. I just saw him do 245s pinch in one hand and then curl a legacy half 100 the other day.
Nice.
So, I mean, there hasn't been a lot of people that have done that feat. So, or it might have been actually, he might have had the inch dumbbell on the other hand. I might have been wrong on that. But yeah, dude, just tremendous potential across all these events. We're gonna see how he does with the medley having to move so much. Yeah, I'm telling you, when he goes, I'm gonna be on the opposite side of the building, because if he trips over something, he's gonna roll for a while, man. He's got some mass to him. So everybody better get the hell out of the way. What I should do is I should grease the floor with some banana peel residue, or maybe some hydraulic fluid or something like that when he goes. Get him to slip. That would help out. He's like, you gotta do what you gotta do in order to get the advantage. And I'm not above sabotaging someone's shoe soles or something like that.
This is nationals after all.
Yeah, dude. It's not like we're in the backyard just at a beer party here. We're not playing cornhole. So I bought a whole dozen donuts. I bought a whole dozen bananas, so I can throw them. I can throw them at him like we're playing Mario Kart battle mode while he's doing that. Let's see, Ches. Well, you know Ches.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the best gripper guys in the United States when he's healthy. He's had some injuries, had to have surgery on his hand, but I competed against him at Gripness in December of last year, and dude, he was looking great. So there's not a lot of weaknesses for that guy either. He's going to be up over 200 pounds on the pinch. He's going to be well over 300 on the Napalm's Nightmare. The medley, a lot of this stuff is well within his grasp.
And it's almost certain he'll get a hold on the number 4 with the Silver Bullet.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I can see him, myself, and Jason Dingy going 20 seconds on the number 4. We're going to use, one thing we didn't talk about is I picked out the number 4s, all the grippers we're going to use. And I think all the guys in this competition are going to do either a 3.5 or a number 4 for the Silver Bullet. I think it's totally possible.
Wow.
And that's not a common thing, dude. So the 4 we're using is rated 214 by Canon, and then the 3.5 that we're using is rated 173 and that's my rating. So it's probably like a 171 or a 170 by a Canon rating, because there's usually a 2 to 3 pound difference between our ratings.
Okay.
But I would bet most of these, I think all these guys are going to do either a 3.5 or 4. I don't know exactly where Dave 101 is at, so maybe he won't be there, but I'm sure he'll get the 3. So that's going to be really exciting. And then who knows? I'm not sure where Sarah and Melissa will be on the Silver Bullet, but they could be both up around the number 3 as well, dude. So it might be all these guys, all these people in this contest might end up doing a 3 or above. Watch Rindo come up and stink it up on the grippers and only get like a 2.5.
And to think of where things are at, I mean, just a few years ago, the official event only was on the number 3. And any hold over 30 seconds was considered really, really good. I mean, the bar has been raised on that event.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, no doubt about it. As more people have been training it and pushing it, it's gone up quite a bit.
So that's the full men's list.
Yep, it's Rindo, Lance, Jason, Vinny, Ches, Clint, Dave, Luke, and myself. So nine guys, two women. That's what we're looking at.
Cool. Well, it seems like this is going to be has the makings for a great nationals. I really look forward to the day when I'll be able to get down and compete with you guys again.
Absolutely, dude. Same here, brother. Same here.
So, yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about the event, or did we cover everything?
Man, I think we got it all. Of course, you know me, man. I love doing feats, so I'm sure we'll be doing grip feats for a while after the contest is done, and you'll probably see some videos of people hitting some stuff. And then I generally reserve a room, or not a room, a table over at the Roussin Hotel, which is right down the end of the block here. We go down there and have dinner, and generally I have to eat most of the food for people because they're amateur eaters, and I have to eat their leftovers. Like Jason Dingy has to leave me his leftovers just so it doesn't go to waste. But drink a few beers and tell a few tales and relive the day and all that stuff. It's a good time. I'm really looking forward to it, and I appreciate everybody that's on their way to come, and I hope everybody has the best PR day of their life on all these events.
That after meal that is very typical for group contests is really, it's almost a highlight of the day. It's so much fun after the contest. Everyone gets together, food and drink, and reliving the day. As you said, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. And it's really a great location where I'm at here, because right on the same street is a hotel and 2 bed and breakfasts. Okay. So, like, people don't even have to worry about driving if they've had a couple drinks. I mean, their car stays parked in the same exact spot the whole time. So I'll tell you though, dude, we're really gonna miss. We're gonna miss a lot of people that don't make it to this competition, but in particular, we're gonna miss Tim Butler, because he has not had the best luck this year. He ended up getting he had a hernia surgery that was planned, and he got that done after the February contest. But then, unfortunately, like 2-3 weeks ago, he was playing some pickup basketball and broke his leg.
Oh,
so
I didn't
know
that. Wow.
That's another top-ranked competitor that would have been in the 93 kilo class, but you didn't hear his name today because he's unfortunately injured. So
and he was on such a roll. Like his improvement over the last couple of years. Holy, he was
absolutely, man. For sure, dude. Like he's done combo feats that almost nobody's ever done. He's way up there in grippers. He's still putting out videos. You might still see a video of him doing stuff in the grip strength group on Facebook, Eric, but he's always sitting down and keeping that broken leg out of the picture. So you might have seen something here the last couple of weeks and not even realized he was hurt. But
quite possible. Yeah.
Yeah. So wish a speedy recovery to Tim, and hopefully he's back on the horse by the next time we have a contest rolling around. Maybe for King Kong, he'll be back in business again.
Cool.
But I think other than that, dude, I think we hit everything. We covered all the events. Again, Eric, I really appreciate you doing this with me so we could have this discussion. And if anyone else has any questions, they can leave them in the comments section below. I can give them links to the entry form, to the qualifications. But you're a gentleman and a scholar, Eric. If people don't know, Eric enters almost all the data from sanctioned contests into our database. He's a tremendous asset to have. I really appreciate everything you do for us, Eric, including this call today.
Yeah, no problem, Jed. It's always a good time to talk about grip.
Yeah, man, for sure. All right. Well, Eric, thanks a lot, buddy. I'll be in touch. We'll talk again. We'll have to do this for when King Kong rolls around. Okay?
Sounds good, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you very much, buddy. Appreciate it. All the best to you.
All right. You too. Bye.
Take care, everybody. Be sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends, post on a forum, whatever you'd like to do. Thank you, and all the best in your training. Take care.